The cold of Thrillia was like nothing Commander Alex Mercer had ever experienced. The planet's winds tore at his reinforced suit, gnawing at every layer of insulation, making even small movements painful. But the calls, tiny, faint, desperate cries, pulled him forward. He had been sent for reconnaissance, a simple mission to survey the frozen plains and check for signs of life. But nothing in his training had prepared him for this. He squinted through the blizzard, scanning the white, frozen expanse. His thermal scanner picked up 2 small heat signatures, barely detectable under layers of snow. They were moving slowly, struggling to stay upright, stumbling through the harsh storm. Alex's heart tightened. Something about their movement suggested fear, weakness, and vulnerability, a combination that demanded immediate action. He moved quickly, but carefully. A misstep could send him sliding across the ice, and in these temperatures, one fall could be fatal. Finally, he reached them. The 2 figures were small, frail, and trembling. Their skin glowed faintly under the snow, pale blue like frost, and their eyes shimmered like liquid silver. They were alien, humanoid but unmistakably otherworldly. One was slightly taller, her movements careful and precise despite the cold. The other clung to her side, shivering violently. "Stay still. I've got you," Alex called softly, lowering himself into the snow. He extended a gloved hand, but the younger one flinched, retreating behind her sister. Alex held up a device that projected a warm energy field, letting them feel immediate heat without touching him. Slowly, hesitantly, they leaned into it. "You're safe," he said gently. "I won't hurt you." The elder sister's eyes studied him, scanning for threats. Then she gestured toward her chest and whispered something in a soft, melodic tone. Alex didn't understand the words, but he understood the meaning. They were weak, cold, and could not survive out here alone. Alex acted fast. He hoisted the younger sister onto his shoulder and helped the elder one to his other side. Every step he took sent snow flying, but the warmth of his suit and the shield he activated kept them from freezing entirely. The storm was relentless, but Alex refused to stop. Survival depended on movement and shelter. Inside his ship, the atmosphere was warm and safe. Alex carefully lowered them onto the heated floor. The elder sister pressed her hands against the heat source, sighing in relief, while the younger one curled up beside her. Alex checked his scanners and saw frostbite beginning to recede from their limbs, though he knew it would take time to fully recover. He retrieved a set of blankets and wrapped them around the sisters. "Can you talk?" Alex asked, crouching near them. The elder nodded slowly. Come," she asked haltingly, trying to form the words. He realized she was attempting Galactic Common, the trade language used across multiple systems. "Common?" "Yes, I can understand you," Alex replied. "Don't worry. You're safe now." The younger one didn't speak. She stayed silent, her wide eyes fixed on him, watching his every movement. There was curiosity there mingled with caution. Alex offered a small ration pack. Hesitating, the elder sister took it and tried to give a small portion to her sibling. Alex watched the interaction closely. They clearly cared for each other, bonded not only by blood but by their shared struggle for survival. Hours passed, and the storm outside continued to rage. Alex set up medical scanners and found that both sisters were indeed alien, their physiology unlike anything he had seen. Their core temperature was low, but not dangerously so. Their bodies were adapted for extreme cold, yet prolonged exposure still caused harm. He treated minor frostbite on their fingers and toes, careful not to hurt them. Through gestures, the elder sister began to explain their situation. Her hands moved with precision, drawing shapes in the air that Alex could interpret as movement, conflict, and flight. She gestured at herself and her sister, then to a place making a motion like a ship or vehicle, and then a group of shadowy figures. Alex understood. They had been fleeing, separated from their people during an attack, and their civilization was in danger. "Raiders?" he asked, watching her nod. "Yes," she whispered. "Crystal, danger." "Home," Alex frowned. The mention of a crystal and danger meant this wasn't just a random attack, it was targeted. These aliens, young as they seemed, were survivors of a calculated raid. He realized the importance of protecting them not just from the storm, but from anyone who might still be hunting them. Despite the language barrier, a bond formed between them. The younger sister began mimicking Alex, attempting to adjust controls on the ship, touching the buttons tentatively and giggling when she succeeded. Alex smiled. He could see she was curious, intelligent, and unafraid once she felt safe. The elder sister watched him, her eyes full of gratitude, but also a hint of worry. She clearly feared for their future. Night fell on Thrilia, though in reality it was hard to tell in the storm. Alex kept watch over them, checking the ship's scanners and monitoring external conditions. Occasionally, the sisters would speak in hushed tones, whispering to each other. The younger one would look at Alex, silently seeking approval, while the elder would glance at him with careful consideration, as if weighing his trustworthiness. "I won't leave you," Alex said aloud, more to himself than to them, but the words felt right. He had been trained to rescue, to survive, to make tough decisions. But this was different. This wasn't just about duty. Something about these two fragile, courageous beings had captured his attention, his concern, and though he would not admit it to himself yet, his heart. As the storm lessened, Alex piloted the ship closer to the nearest safe zone, a settlement used for research teams and stranded travelers. He knew the sisters would not survive out there for long if the temperature dropped again. "Almost there," he said softly. The younger one reached for his hand, gripping it tightly, and Alex squeezed back. It was a simple gesture, but it carried trust, reliance, and the first hints of something deeper. By the time the blizzard finally subsided, Alex had made a decision. These two sisters had survived the snow because of him, but their survival was more than physical. They needed guidance, protection, and someone they could depend on. And whether they realized it yet or not, Alex had begun to care for them, not just as a human rescuing aliens, but as someone who now had a reason to fight for something beyond duty, beyond survival. The settlement appeared on his scanners, a cluster of domes and structures barely visible in the snow. Alex guided the ship carefully, landing near a supply hub. He helped the sisters down, their small forms shivering but standing tall beside him. Locals approached, eyes wide at the unusual alien pair. Alex explained their situation simply, and volunteers moved quickly to provide warmth and care. The elder sister looked back at Alex as he supervised the unloading of supplies. There was a moment of connection, silent but profound. She didn't have words yet, but her eyes said it all. "Thank you, and don't leave." The younger one clung to his leg, her small fingers gripping his suit. Alex knelt and smiled. "I'm not going anywhere," he promised. That night, as he watched over them in a secure shelter, Alex realized something. Humanity had always prided itself on exploration, courage, and ingenuity. But this was different. He was part of a new story, one where survival, trust, and compassion could cross species, worlds, and cultures. And as he drifted into a light, watchful sleep, he knew one thing. Whatever dangers awaited them beyond this storm, he would face them. Not because of duty, but because two small alien sisters had given him a reason to stay. Outside, Thrilia's winds howled, indifferent to the lives it threatened. Inside, warmth, safety, and trust had been built, one careful action at a time. Alex knew the journey ahead would be long, dangerous, and full of unknowns. But for the first time in a long time, he was ready. For them, for the sisters who had survived the snow, and perhaps in ways he did not yet fully understand for himself. The storm had passed, but Thrilia remained a harsh and unforgiving world. The snow had settled into deep drifts, and jagged ice formations glistened like shards of glass under the dim light. Alex Mercer knew their journey was far from over. The sisters were safe for now, but their home was still in danger, and the raiders who had destroyed their villages could return at any moment. He helped the sisters aboard the ship once more, this time with a clear destination in mind, their homeland. The elder sister, who had introduced herself as Lyra, gave Alex a rough map of the terrain, using hand gestures and simple words in galactic common. The younger sister, Mina, clung to Lyra's side, glancing at Alex repeatedly, her silver eyes full of both hope and fear. The journey was perilous. The terrain of Thrilia was unpredictable, with hidden ice chasms and shifting snowfields that could swallow a person, or a ship, whole. Alex piloted carefully, using every skill he had learned from his years in the military and in deep space exploration. When a sudden blizzard swept across the plains, Alex's instincts kicked in, adjusting shields and navigating through near-zero visibility. Lyra gripped the ship's console, murmuring a few words of thanks in broken galactic common, while Mina pressed herself against Alex's side, trusting him completely. Days passed, and the sisters began to open up more. Lyra taught Alex fragments of their language, smiling when he mispronounced words. Mina followed along silently, copying gestures and intonation, laughing softly when she succeeded. They shared stories of their life before the raid, describing villages built into icy cliffs, shimmering rivers that never froze, and forests of crystalline trees. Alex listened intently, fascinated by the beauty of a world so different from his own. "Your planet is amazing," Alex said one evening, after helping them repair part of the ship's heat exchanger. Lyra smiled faintly. "It was before," she said softly. Mina's hand found his, a quiet gesture of trust and connection. As they neared their homeland, the damage left by the raiders became clear. The energy shields meant to protect the planet were broken, leaving villages exposed. Some were partially destroyed. Buildings toppled and ice-crusted debris scattered across the landscape. Alex's heart sank. The sisters had lost so much, and their people might still be in danger. "We can fix this," he said firmly, more to himself than to them. Lyra looked at him with cautious hope, and Mina's eyes sparkled. Alex knew the task ahead was monumental, but he was determined. Survival had brought them together, and he would not abandon them now. Landing near the largest settlement, Alex and the sisters assessed the damage. The raiders had not returned, but their presence was still felt in the ruins. Alex organized local survivors, teaching them human engineering techniques to repair damaged energy grids and fortify defenses. He demonstrated how to use scavenged materials to create effective shields, blending human technology with the sisters' advanced knowledge of their environment. Lyra observed closely, taking notes and asking questions. She adapted quickly, learning new methods and refining them to suit their unique climate. Mina, ever curious, shadowed Alex, eager to learn, often mimicking his every movement. The sisters' teamwork amazed him. Despite the trauma they had endured, they were strong, intelligent, and determined. As the days passed, a bond formed between Alex and the sisters that went beyond trust. Small gestures revealed deeper connections. Lyra would glance at him when making important decisions, seeking his input. Mina would offer him small gifts, shards of ice shaped like stars, delicate crystalline flowers she had picked from hidden groves, symbols of affection in her quiet way. Alex found himself responding with care, sharing meals, explaining human traditions, and even teaching simple games to the sisters to bring some joy back into their lives. One evening, as the northern lights shimmered across the sky, Alex and Lyra worked side by side repairing a damaged energy relay. Mina sat nearby watching silently. "Why do you help us so much?" Lyra asked, her voice hesitant, eyes searching his. "Because it's the right thing to do," Alex replied, keeping his tone gentle. "And because I care about you both." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile and Mina's hand squeezed his. The work was not easy. Raiders could return at any time, and rebuilding a civilization is never simple. Alex stayed vigilant, patrolling the borders, reinforcing defenses and teaching the sisters and remaining survivors how to handle threats efficiently. Over time, the sisters' people began to return from hiding, inspired by the human who had risked everything to save their family. As they rebuilt their homeland, the sisters' desire for Alex to stay became more apparent. Mina followed him everywhere, insisting on helping with repairs, bringing tools, and offering quiet encouragement. Lyra would sit with him after long days of work, discussing strategy, sharing meals, and sometimes just being near him. Both sisters had grown attached, not merely as a result of survival, but because of the respect, trust, and warmth Alex had shown them. One night, Alex found himself on a ridge overlooking the valley where the settlement had grown. The northern lights danced above, painting the ice in hues of green and blue. Mina appeared beside him, silently offering him a crystal-shaped flower. Lyra joined them, resting her hand lightly on his shoulder. "Stay with us," Lyra whispered, her words deliberate and clear. "You have saved us, and now we cannot imagine life without you." Alex felt the weight of their words. Leaving would be easy in terms of logistics, but impossible emotionally. He had come to Thrillia as a rescuer, a human explorer, but he had become part of their world, their lives, and their hearts. I will stay," he said finally, placing a hand over theirs. The sisters' eyes lit up with relief and happiness. The following days were a celebration of small victories. Energy shields were restored, villages rebuilt, and life slowly returned to normal. Alex worked tirelessly, but he no longer felt alone. Lyra and Mina were by his side at every step, their laughter echoing through the frozen valleys, their joy a reminder of why survival mattered. The sisters had not only found safety, they had found a human who respected them, fought for them, and chose to remain in their world. As the first true sunrise in weeks bathed the icy land in soft light, Alex stood with the sisters at the edge of the settlement. Children, returning families, and the once lost villagers emerged from hiding. Guided by the safety and order Alex had helped establish, Lyra placed a hand on his chest. "You are part of us now," she said. Mina nodded eagerly beside her. "We want you to stay, forever." Alex smiled, feeling the warmth of connection that no machine or shield could provide. Humanity had reached this frozen world not as conquerors or invaders, but as allies, friends, and protectors. And in doing so, he had discovered a bond that transcended species. Courage, trust, and love born from survival. Together, they faced the challenges of rebuilding a civilization, standing as a family forged in snow, danger, and mutual respect. And as the wind whispered through the crystalline trees and over the icy cliffs, one truth remained clear. Alex Mercer was home not just in a place, but in the hearts of the two alien sisters who had survived the snow, and who had now claimed him as part of their world, their lives, and their future. The world was still cold, still harsh, but inside their small settlement, warmth radiated from more than fire. It came from trust, from courage, and from the unbreakable bond between a human and the sisters he had saved. And as Alex looked at Lyra and Mina, standing close to him, he knew that together they could face anything the universe dared to throw at them. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors but as heroes, and in doing so Alex had found a place where he truly belonged.